Hello, welcome to our success series on time management today. So this is just the overview of what we're going to be covering. We're going to go over some introductions, talk about the benefits of scheduling, finding what works for you, fighting procrastination, and finding motivation. And then we'll go over some UNLV resources at the end. So just some introductions. My name is Christine Gore. I'm a couple and family therapy master's student and an academic coach here at Student Success.
And my name is Antoinette Wiggin. I am a master's of curriculum and instruction with an emphasis in instructional design student. It's my first year and also my first year as an academic success coach as well.
Yeah. So as coaches, we provide unique peer-to-peer experience with students as we are also students here at UNLV, just to give some more support to students. So at the coaching spot, we cover things that are sometimes called soft skills, which are just the strategies for succeeding in college. A lot of times it's the skills that we might not know ahead of time going into it, but that can really help support us as we are trying to do our best in all the academics and managing time and everything. So this is just a list of all the topics we cover in our one-on-one coaching sessions, like time management, goal setting, achieving, test taking, note taking, utilizing all the resources on campus, preventing burnout, avoiding procrastination, building rapport and networking, and fostering motivation and study skills.
All right, so first off, we're going to start with the benefits of scheduling your time. So, why use time management tools? For instance, avoid falling behind. We don't want to start falling behind because then things start to build up and then things start to snowball. We have more work required outside of our class time, aside from just attending our lectures, right? We have our homework, study time, things like that. Prevent burnout. Again, same thing with the snowballing. The more we're overworking ourselves because we're trying to do everything last minute and we're not managing our time correctly, then we start to burn out a lot quicker. It develops responsibility for yourself. You are in charge of attending your classes, asking the questions, doing the work. Be proactive in your success. All of the success lies within yourself. So be your own accountability coach. We are here as well to help you with accountability. But of course, you want to help yourself and do great in your classes. And then for the organization checklist, be sure to include all of the following in something like a planner, Google Calendar, or your weekly block schedule. So include your class times, your study times, your work, other family obligations, self care, sleep, meals, everything that takes a certain amount of time in your life, you're going to want to put it on your calendar. So here's an example of what that looks like. So this is something that we use. This is our weekly block schedule. So you'll see here it's actually different colors, different color coded. So for your certain classes, your work times, I personally put mine the same way like this, where I have my chunks of my study time when I'm going out with family and friends, my work time, just because you want to make sure that you're setting aside time for those things that you need to do, such as your study and homework time, because those aren't actually, blocked in with your class times. That's something that you need to figure out what works best with your own schedule. And create this weekly study schedule. The more that you can build consistency, the easier it is so that you're not scrambling to find time. And then what happens if you get off schedule? Life happens, we readjust. It's always important to to prepare for the unexpected when possible. When your plan is thrown into chaos, make a to do list of the activities that you need to complete. So when life happens, you're doing all the clubs, the activities, the events, and now everything just gets super busy. Start to prioritize everything and start to just list everything out. See what really all you have to do.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to kind of just finding what works for you. So finding your system, everyone has their own system. Some people like more the daily checklist or like to do things virtually versus on paper. Other people are the opposite. So just kind of trying to figure out what system works best for you. This might be a trial and error process. So our schedules can be organized into daily to-do lists, weekly schedules like Antoinette was just talking about, monthly calendars or semester calendars. And just also making that decision, do I want to keep track of it on digital means or physical paper copy means? And yeah, that it's an essential component of time management is to figure out your specific methods. This is just a list here of different digital apps and websites that can help. We will talk a little bit more about Google Calendar, but anything else here, they are options that have worked for students in the past. So definitely take a look at that. For Google Calendar, it is a free service you can use if you have a Google email. Just connect There's also a way to connect Canvas assignments to your Google Calendar so they all sync together. It's easy to color code and create multiple calendars and different things if you want a personal one versus school one, or if you all want it on one. And it's easy to share with peers, classmates, maybe for work, other things. So you can always download that app on your phone. And we're going to go now to a little video about how to sync that Canvas calendar to the Google Calendar.
Things you're going to do is pull up Canvas. You're going to click here on Calendar. Then you're going to click Calendar Feed. You're going to copy this link, and then you're going to go to your Google Calendar, click the plus sign, click URL right here, paste, add calendar. You'll see it says calendar added. Then you'll go back and you will see your new Canvas calendar in there. Mine looks very sparse because I'm only taking one class for the summer, but as you can see here, this assignment has been completed and this one has not. So there it is right there in your Google Calendar, your Canvas calendar.
Perfect. So that can be really helpful just so that you have everything in one place. Or also, I generally recommend to students to check in the syllabi of all their classes, maybe at the beginning of each week or maybe once at the beginning of the semester, and making sure that everything's accurate and all the assignments are put in so that you can then plan each week knowing, hey, these are the assignments due each week. So this is something that can be helpful too. To kind of break it down, looking at each course at a time. So you kind of would put the class name at the top of each box, the weekly expectations, say if you have a weekly homework that's due at 11:59 on Saturdays every week, or other times throughout the week, you would put all those different weekly like assignments and things, then upcoming major assignments, maybe upcoming tests, tools, resources that you might need, and then the best method to contact your instructor, just so you have it all ready and you can kind of have that to look back on throughout the semester. There's another assignment tracker called the Weekly Assignment Manager. It's kind of like a to-do list for a day of the week. Some students like that method, or just a big long to-do list with everything that we have to do. That can be really helpful. A lot of times writing it down and then crossing it off, that can add some motivation, but also it can help us stay on track of all of the assignments we have.
All right. And then next would be fighting procrastination. So this is something a lot of us, if not all of us, know. Why do we procrastinate? Maybe it's a fear of failure, fear of criticism, avoidance, low self-esteem, perfectionism, lack of motivation. There's a lot of different reasons for procrastinating. A couple of tips to avoid procrastination is start with just one thing to complete. So let's say I have all these homework assignments to do. I need to study. I have these events I need to attend. All of these things. Focus on one thing at a time. A lot of the time when we have no time management tools, I always say the first thing you start with is figure out what is your schedule. So just write it all out. So going back to that weekly block schedule. Okay, if you're someone who already has a schedule, now let's implement one single block of time, maybe a couple times a week. So let's say I'm going to study and do my homework every weeknight from 7 to 8 p.m. So something consistent. Do focus on one thing. Do a power hour, like I said, 7 to 8 p.m. Whatever time works for you best in your day. Tackle your hardest tasks when you have the most energy. If you are not a morning person, do not try to do everything all at 8 a.m. Find what's the best time of the day for you that you're the most efficient. You feel like you have the most function in your day, and focus on that. Break your big assignments into smaller tasks and set deadlines. So let's say you have a giant project, you want to start setting deadlines like, okay, I'm going to do all of my readings for this project on this day. Now I'm going to start doing my drafts the next day, so on and so forth. So don't say, okay, if it's due on Tuesday, I'm going to do it on Tuesday. We want to start getting it ahead of time and breaking it into smaller chunks so that's a little spread out more evenly. And reward yourself every time you complete a task. So let's say maybe you're going to study or do an assignment for 25 minutes. Okay, for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to relax. I'm going to watch part of my Netflix show. There's a lot of different things you can do to reward yourself. So another part of procrastination is to figure out what is most important and what is most urgent, and you can kind of use that to list out your things. So this is Covey's time management matrix. So we listed out from important and urgent, maybe important and not urgent, and then urgent but not really important right now. And if it's not urgent and not important, we're going to put those last. So use this to kind of prioritize your list as well.
Yeah, and now we're going to talk a little bit more about finding motivation. So, motivation is a willingness to do something based on needs, wants, desires. It's a driving factor for our actions. So, it matters because it helps us achieve our goals. It can help us avoid and reduce procrastination. If we're really motivated to do something, we're more likely to do it. We're less likely to procrastinate. And it moves us forward. So, it can be helpful to kind of rank important life goals so we know what's important to us, what sort of things are our priorities right now. So we can look through all the different areas of life, like emotional well-being, spiritual, physical, social, rewarding career. Maybe right now in school, it's educational, different things like that. And there's two different types of motivation. So intrinsic motivation is when you're motivated to perform an activity or task based on the fact that it is personally rewarding to you, not for any external reason. So it's something that you personally enjoy doing, and you were motivated to do it because you like to do it, and it's personally rewarding for you. So some examples might be exercising because you enjoy physically challenging your body, volunteering because you feel content and fulfilled, taking on more responsibility at work because you enjoy being challenged and feeling accomplished. So those are things, hey, we usually don't struggle with motivation when it's intrinsic motivation because they're things that we just generally are motivated to do because it's important to us. Versus sometimes with schoolwork, we might not be as intrinsically motivated all the time. So we can turn to the other form of motivation, which is extrinsic motivation, which is when you're motivated to perform an activity or task based on receiving a reward, benefit, or to avoid a punishment. So, for example, it would be like competing in sports because you want the trophy, or studying because you want to get a good grade, volunteering because it looks good on your resume, or reading a book because you have to prepare for a test. So a lot of these things, I often talk with students to use that intrinsic motivation as something. If we're not feeling the motivation to study, put that some type of reward or benefit on for ourselves so that we can plan ahead and have that motivation. For example, say we're really struggling through finals right now, but we know, hey, at the end of this, it's going to be summer and I'm going to have a lot of time to do a lot of fun things. So maybe we make specific plans. Hey, if I get all my papers and final projects and tests done and I get a certain amount of grade, then I get to do this fun activity I've been wanting to do with my friends or something else, and plan it out that way. So, hey, we have something to look forward to that can help us get through that week of difficult things and have the motivation to continue and to keep trying. So, figuring out how are you motivated? And there's different ways here that we can use extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. So, you can increase your own intrinsic motivation by linking your actions to a bigger purpose or something that's meaningful to you. So, linking it to something that's already a value that's really important to you in your life, aligning your lifestyle to tasks and activities so that you are more intrinsically motivated. And how can we use the extrinsic motivation is rewarding yourself with something that you enjoy. For example, in a smaller scale, like eating a cookie for every 20 minutes of studying, or maybe after we take a hard, difficult test and we've studied as much as we wanted to, we get to go out to coffee or do something else that we've been wanting to do. And asking for feedback and reassurance from friends, family and role models can also be really helpful with that, of getting the feedback, having that accountability. And us as coaches can be that accountability partner for you as well throughout the semester. And just for some general motivation strategies, what can you do to try to stay motivated? Sometimes visualizing can be really helpful, picturing yourself achieving those goals, maybe having a vision board or setting these different goals throughout the semester, and then tracking your progress can be really helpful. Setting a timeline, what sort of things would you need to do to stay on track? We do have some resources like the Staircase to Success that we can talk through with you at our coaching appointments. Focusing on the tough stuff. So that's another thing for procrastination and motivation. Get those difficult things out of the way. Don't push it off to the last second. Losing motivation tends to occur when we're working through really difficult things or when we're really overwhelmed with everything that's going on. So when we have more time, maybe in the beginning of the semester, trying to get bigger projects done, or at least starting them early so that we don't get too overwhelmed at the end that we lose that motivation and we want to give up, right? So another one is to prioritize, figuring out what's important and urgent and getting it out of the way, asking for help, connecting with your peers, professors, going to professors' office hours, the TAs, the tutors in the library, and us at the coaching spot as well. Get all the support that you need, and don't hesitate to reach out at all. And then also making time for things that you enjoy, scheduling time just for you, making sure we're avoiding burnout in that way, where we are able to schedule out the time that we need with family, friends, and personal time and self-care.
Thank you for that, Christine.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I feel like a lot of the times we have a lot of these tools that we need to succeed, but a lot of the motivation lies within ourselves as well. So, of course, that intrinsic motivation is very important. And so now we're going to talk about student success resources. So a couple of resources are supplemental instruction. So this is a group study section that is designed for historically difficult courses. So certain science and math classes, especially like biology 189 is for an example. These are set times. We do have a schedule for this and it's available at that link. And you can find the times and you can attend these supplemental instruction sections to help you. It's kind of, I would say, kind of like a tutoring session in a way. Academic success coaching. So that's us. We help you develop your soft skills that can be applied to the college experience as a whole. So again, going back to that time management, being an accountability partner, figuring out some study skills, kind of just getting into the meat and potatoes of, okay, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm successful in school? And if you're not really sure where to go for a certain resource, just come to us and we can help you navigate that path as well. And then there is also tutoring as well. There is content specific study time with peers. So there's also a schedule for this as well. You can check the website for the courses, dates, and times for which tutors are available. And you can contact us, the Coaching Spot. We are in building SSCA, room 254. And there's our phone number and our email and our Instagram as well. Follow us on Instagram. And we do have a ramen noodle bar. We have some snacks. You can come and use our space to study. If you just want to see a coach, you can typically drop in if there's a coach available. Otherwise, you can go ahead and make an appointment with us as well. And you can scan the QR code below to book a coaching appointment. Otherwise, you would also go to our website, fill our self-referral form through there, or go through Rebel Success Hub and make an appointment with us or call us as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.